Hey, Matt. My name's Danny Shannon. I'm the founder of Encapsulator. We provide digital time capsules, allowing individuals to reflect on their present moment and record their hopes, dreams, their fears, and their future aspirations, all locked away in our secure, time-locked vault to be discovered at a date that you choose in the future. You can find us at encapsulator.io.
So for those that are on the move and for those that are just seeking, well, here's a show for you. Welcome to another episode of Matt Chat Live. This is Matt Crump, and welcome back to another episode of Matt Chat Live. And I am with someone who should be no stranger to you. He definitely is no stranger to me. Danny, we've talked. I just was like looking at my WhatsApp stuff. I'm looking at videos and comments we've had between each other. It's like more posts than LinkedIn, of course, for sure. We talk just about every day, right? And I'm so excited to have you on the show. I absolutely love you like you're my own brother. I can't wait to squeeze your giant neck one day, you big Mr. Clean looking guy. And I'm so glad you're here, man. Thanks for coming to the show today.
Thank you so much, Matty. It's my absolute pleasure to be on your show, and more so, you know, like this relationship we have, this back and forth video messages on a daily basis. I go a couple of days, I go, where's Crumpage? Why hasn't he messaged me? You know, and we touch base again. So, and I know you're in North Carolina, isn't it, Matt? You know?
That's right.
Yeah. It just spins me out. I just love talking to you guys. I've got a couple of good connections in North Carolina, funny enough. So
I know.
Yeah.
You're supposed to come for my birthday, and Corona just had different plans that time of year, didn't it?
Oh, yeah, Matt. I would have been there too, mate. It was on my plans. Bloody COVID.
I know. That stinking thing. Well, it's all right. Well,
the 3rd of June, was it?
That's when you were coming. My birthday was June 2nd, but that's when you're planning on landing here, yeah. That's all right. But man, I'm super excited to share with folks your business. And there's some folks out there that have definitely heard about it. You have some incredible videos out there. You've been doing some great stuff with people whose lives have been affected by doing certain things with Encapsulator. I remember you had a young man on recently who was an addict, and he had something where he recorded something of himself, like right when he was starting to get clean, like the end of his journey, right? Or beginning of his new journey. And then he looked at himself a couple years later, and the video was him watching himself, talking to himself. He's like, holy cow, I can't believe that was even me, right? So I know you come from a past yourself with addictions and all those things you've gone through yourself, and now you work at a rehab center, which is amazing. So you get to share some great breakthrough times with other people on a regular basis, which is so amazing of you. You have to be as big as you are because your body requires that size to hold the heart that you have, because it's so big. I love Danny's heart. So, you know, what made you think about, through all this, what made you think about even starting this company? What made you think, I want to do this video thing? I mean, what sparked that thought?
Matt, thank you, mate. That's beautiful.
He's going to pay all his folks later, so it's pretty cool. I'm going to get rich
It's
off.
funny because you say the big heart. I'm the most sensitive guy as well. Like, I'm in tears almost on a daily basis. And it's not sadness. It's usually gratitude too. You know, I express my gratitude in the strangest ways, but I'm an incredibly grateful man. Matt, and that question you just asked, I love it because it's so obvious what made me start it. I'm such a nostalgic person in recovery anyway. You know, one of the massive things that I've always done and has always meant so much to me is photos and images of the past. It's just my thing. Actually, at Glebe House, which is the rehab that I went through, and I've been working there now for nearly 8 years, I've got a photo wall. You might have seen I've created a video with it. It takes up the whole wall. There's about 150 men on that wall, and I took every single photo. I stuck every photo on that board, and every single time one of the boys walks into our office, the first thing they do before they even look at me or say hello is they look up at that board, right? It provides this amazing connection. Like, even if it's a new guy who's just entered our service, the community of drug addiction certainly is quite, it's not huge. So they'll always see someone they know up on that board, basically.
Oh, yeah.
And it provides them this level of, and that guy's 5 years clean, that guy's 10 years clean. that guy's dead is another thing that comes up often too, you know.
Yeah.
So, mate, that board got full. There's no more room on that board. And I was celebrating a big milestone about 5 years ago. I turned 5 years clean and sober. And I was sitting there, I was thinking, I wonder what I was like when I entered this place, this rehab. What was I thinking? How was I feeling? And I came up with this idea. The time capsule dropped in my head. I'm going to buy a video camera. I'm going to record a message to myself for another 5 years' time. I'm going to lock it away. And boom, that's what happened, mate.
You were the first customer of your own business?
Yeah, so it was. That's how it should be, isn't it?
Yes, that's amazing, right? So what did you think about, did you watch the video, yeah?
Mate, look, before I get on that, the most amazing thing happened the minute I started recording that video, okay? I printed out some questions to help me guide me through it, some goal-setting questions and stuff. And the minute I started that recording, I just noticed this immense feeling of this was just different. I'd never recorded a video message to myself. Immediately, I thought, this is going to be amazing for the boys coming through our service, you know? And that's sort of the angle I went on. You know, I've captured over 150 videos of our clients over the last 5 years on video, and now they're using Encapsulator. And we're getting some amazing feedback from it too, mate.
Oh, that's so awesome. That's so awesome.
To watch my video gave me goosebumps, man. You know, like I had this, one of the things you notice immediately when my video comes on, and there's some testimony around this, is I had such a big head. Like, yeah, I just, for some reason I was quite a big guy. They say we put down the spoon, as in abusing drugs, and we pick up the fork in recovery, you know?
Oh, so exactly,
yeah. Put down the spoon and picked up the fork. And I was quite heavy. And one of the first things I said is that I hope that I'm fitter and I'll lose some weight. And when I watched my video, I was probably 10 kilos less. So it was immediately the transformation was just so obvious, so apparent, you know?
That's pretty awesome, right? What a big testimony to yourself, to your business, to the opportunities for other people. And if folks haven't had a chance to watch some of your, I mean, you just put out a video within the past 30 days of that young man. What's that boy's name I was talking about? That
maybe Jimmy James, the absolute legend.
He was a little more, he was like a tanner guy.
Yeah, okay, cool. I put out a few. It might have been Steve, it could have been Claude. I put out lately, Matt, the most amazing things happening right at this stage right now in my business. I'm getting all these videos that people created 2 and 3 years ago, and these people are hitting big milestones of 2 and 3 years, and I'm being able to give them back. They're watching their videos and they're coming to me saying, Danny, I can't believe. But one of the things that started this idea was that people would come up to me all the time and they go, this is so common, right? Danny, I haven't changed, you know, like when things going to get better? And you're just scratching your head and you're going, Steve, think about this when you came here. You know, you're broken. You came in with a striped bag from the local $2 shop. You know, you had nothing. Now look at what you've got. But we focus on the negative always. You know, we forget to focus on the negative.
Great point, Danny.
Yeah.
No, that's a great point. And a lot of people can get trapped in that, whether you're, it's just part of our lives and our nature that, you know, we can go negative a whole lot too, that we can go positive. It takes work to be positive, right? I don't care who you are. It takes work. And I mean, you can get better at it, obviously, but you know, just our natural state is to go that way, and to be able to say something like, yeah, I don't know what I've done. I haven't done much and blah, blah, blah. And you're like, yeah, well, watch this video, click. Holy cow. That was me.
It's absolutely amazing that we can do that, Matt. This is a human condition that we do this. You know, we can all focus on the negatives. Actually, I think our default position, just as a human, is to automatically do that. It's the work we put in between that changes that. You know, to look at a more positive. Anyway, that's my belief. It's my certain.
I was talking to another friend of mine. Yesterday did a show with Teresa Quinlan, and she does emotional intelligence. She's kind of popular on LinkedIn as well. And she and I were talking about, certain things about offices and things that she's been able to do with what she does in office setting and corporate settings, things of that nature. So, I mean, with something like Encapsulator, I mean, it's not just for people that are drug addicts. Like, we could take Encapsulator and go to a business or a corporation and places where people are having office scenarios or whatever, and you can take different people from different departments, and they could say, all right, my name's Matt. I'm in charge of HR. Today is 2020. And, here's where we're at now. And my goal and vision for us right now in the next 3 years is to get here. Right. And then you can have different people in different parts of departments of the company, for example, be able to speak to themselves and lock it away. And then later on come back as a company and say, hey, let's review. Like, let's review in 6 months. Let's review in a year. Let's review in 2 years. And Encapsulator is a fantastic tool to even do something like that, right?
Absolutely, Matt. We're really so happy at the moment. We are supporting corporate employees through an onboarding program, giving new onboarding participants an opportunity to set some goals for, let's say, the next 12 months and revisit those goals quarterly to see what their progress is. This also shows how the organization is supporting their onboarding participants, using this innovative technology to create and capture their goals and be able to check in maybe in 12 months' time as to their progress. It's kind of like a KPI tool,
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're working with one of the biggest property organizations in the world at the moment, setting up this onboarding program. And I like to think of Encapsulator more as a program. You can set it up in such a way that your prompt questions can come up weekly, monthly, where it'll ask you to answer certain questions into your secure time lock vault. Keep in mind too, Matt, we're talking about an opportunity to express ourselves on camera, just like this, without any judgment. But
it should be transparent, because you're just talking to you, right? I mean, you're either going to lie to yourself, which is horrible to think. Yeah. But if you're alone, I mean, you should be able to just go for the gusto, let it all out, and say, all right, this is what I think, right?
Mate, and do you know what? A lot of the feedback is the first upload of people are still putting on fronts. They've still got the ego involved. And what they're finding is, as time goes by, the more regular they're updating, that they're able to completely drop those fronts and be able to express themselves without any fear of judgment, just really capturing the essence of, I think, who we are exactly today and delivering that to our future selves.
That's so awesome and so exciting. And, you just talked about the prompts. I mean, that's fantastic. So do you have some stuff that's built into Encapsulator that might have preloaded questions that they can have and say, oh, I'm going to put these things down, or do they have to come up with their own questions, or is it both and, or?
Matt, it's just amazing, right? The same questions I wrote and researched 5 years ago when I first came up with the idea are the same questions today that are giving people, 90% of people, this emotional experience. People are coming back to me saying, Danny, I cried. Like I don't cry, because some of the questions that we've got in our prompts menu, they ask about our loved ones, talk about our future goals. One of my favorite questions is there something you'd like to say to yourself in 5 years' time? So these questions are absolutely allowing people to talk to their inner child, to be able to, and bringing up some emotional stuff. And not only that, these questions help guide you to create the best video possible. So they can be found on the website in one of our blog posts, and we also send out questions intermediately through the platform, prompting people to answer that question. It's up to the organization, actually, Matt, how we set it up.
Oh, that's amazing. And I mean, there's definitely a lot of things we can even go into. I mean, we could talk about this forever, but we talk about mental health, and I could think that there's probably a lot of ways that, some doctors and psychologists and things of that nature could see that this would be a fantastic tool helping people with mental health. Yeah.
Yeah, mate. Absolutely. It sure is. We've got this psychiatrist working with us at the moment, and this is I can't believe this, right? This guy is writing studies and papers on future goals, setting future goals, revisiting those goals more often, giving us a bigger chance of achieving those goals, because when we set a long-term goal, let's just say 2 years time, often we're much more likely to achieve a short-term goal because it's at the forefront of our mind. But he believes that encapsulator and updating daily, he's been using our platform for the last 3 months, twice a day, and he's writing about his progress with that. Okay, now what he believes, and this is absolutely my experience as well, is the more often we just do a 1 or 2 minute update and we revisit our goals, we check in with ourselves, the much more likely we are to achieve those goals, because they're at the front of our mind, Matt, rather than down the track 2 years.
In the distance, right?
Yeah,
that's really amazing. I mean, there are some people that are capable of naming those goals and going after them and accomplish them, right? I mean, there's some fantastic people, and then there's the rest of us. So it's like, I need some help, right? Yeah. So I need the big crayon picture. I need the big letters to tell me, Matt, go this way, right? So something like that is an opportunity, twofold. One, you've got some help by an amazing guy with an amazing platform to give you some questions, but at the same time, you're helping yourself, right? What better thing could you possibly get? Now, a lot of folks would think, well, Danny, you know, I've got my cell phone, I've got YouTube, right? I mean, I can do videos all day long. Why do I need an encapsulator?
Yeah, I love that question, and I've really drilled down on this answer, Matt. There's so many differences. Okay, social media, for example, Facebook. I love Facebook. Facebook Memories is one of my favorite things ever. You know, but we're talking about the raw, the real stuff. You know, often, let's face it, on Facebook, we're putting on some kind of a show, some type of a front. Things aren't always as perfect as they appear on Facebook, you know. So there's that part. You know,
I don't know what you're talking about. Mine's fantastic.
Hey, YouTube, for example, what, we're going to put our content out there for the world to see, maybe find under a link. What we provide is your video disappears. Okay, this is the thing. Like the minute you lock your time capsule, you create your entry, it disappears into our secure time lock vault. I want to just mention that we use the latest and greatest encryption and technology to keep everyone's files and videos private and secure. There's end-to-end encryption. Your video disappears, and every time you log in, Matt, and you want to create another video, you'll see that countdown just rolling down, like you're thinking, well, I'm getting closer to achieving my goals. This idea also makes us think, am I moving towards those goals? What did I say in my video back maybe 12 months ago? We often forget. Well, we think we know what we said, but it's often different to what people thought they said. You know?
Oh, that's so true, brother. I mean, I've probably forgotten most of the great ideas I've ever had, because I'm a dreamer by nature. I dream. I'm an entrepreneur, so I'm always going after something, and I am never short of an idea. And how awesome would it be to actually land some of those ideas to the ground, right?
Look, I use encapsulator. Obviously, I use it very regularly. One of the amazing time capsules I have at the moment is I've been documenting my business journey for the last 18 months. Okay, it's locked for 5 years. I think it's at the countdowns at about 3 years, 200 days to go. Now, I've actually captured over 130 business meetings where I give a demonstration, and I ask the person I'm with 2 questions. I ask them, what's important for you in your life at present? And then I ask them, what would you like to say to yourself in another 3.5 years when this time capsule hatches, right? Now, keep in mind, they're with me, so they're not able to completely give an honest, bold answer, but that experience is being documented. I'm now going to be able to give back. By the time another 3 years goes, I'll probably have 500 entries in there, but I'm going to be able to send all those videos out to all these amazing people that I met with. And hopefully, you know, encapsulated by this stage is thriving. You know, I think things are so exciting at the moment where we're going, and I just can't wait to look, Matt. Let me just add to, I'm a man in recovery. I was in addiction for 17 years on the streets, using, abusing, hurting myself and anyone around me. I left school at a very young age as well. So this business journey has been such a struggle. Like I am just learning every single day, non-stop. It does not stop. I've never had an obsession quite like Encapsulator, and when I say an obsession, I've invested a lot of time, a lot of money, and a lot of hope, I guess, into my idea. And I'm just seeing some amazing results and feedback. So it's my job as a human being to keep moving towards this. People need a tool to be able to document, track, reflect on their progress.
I think it's fantastic. It's the perfect tool. And you're an entrepreneur. You wouldn't have said maybe 10 years ago, "Hi, I'm Danny Shannon. I'm an entrepreneur." But that's who you are now, because we're passionate people, and it's your baby. And nobody's going to love Encapsulator any more than you. You're the man, right? It's your thing. However, there are people that are starting to love it a whole lot as well, right? I got a question. Where did Encapsulator come from? Where did you think of the name?
The name. Do you know what? So the first pilot program was at Glebe House. That's my place of employment. That's the rehab I've worked at now for 8 years. Our old manager, Jonathan, it's funny he gets mentioned in this. He came up with the name. So he loved what I was doing. He pitched it to the board that Danny's getting, permission notes, like consent forms to capture videos. And then it sort of grew from that. But Encapsulator was one of the names that he came up with. And I thought, you know what? I love that. So Jonathan gets all the credit for Encapsulator.
Oh, that's awesome.
We are encapsulating the essence of who we are today and delivering that to the future.
Ooh, you ought to write that down. We'll put that in video. Forget writing it down. Put it on a time capsule. Oh, I love it so much, man. And nobody better than you to be the spokesperson and cheerleader for that. And I'm cheerleading for you too. I think that you're incredible. I think this is a great vision you have, and the software. There's so many software things out there. We got software every day, everywhere, coming all the time. But, this is a bit different in what's out there, which is what's important, because, we don't want to keep getting the same stuff just repackaged, right? So in this case, it's completely different. It's therapeutic technology, right? That's what the science is behind you anyway.
No, absolutely, Matt. Look, it's quite a unique product. And what we're talking about on top of that is having these prompt questions, allowing people to create those best videos possible. There's nothing actually like this out there on the market. Time capsules have actually been a method of communicating with future man ever since time began. Encapsulator has brought the time capsule to the 21st century. So what was once locked in the ground can now be securely locked away in the cloud, waiting for us to discover.
I love it. While you're talking like that, I can remember when I was in third grade in school. We all got together and we got our stuff and we put it in some kind of a time capsule. What really gets me now, I'm thinking, I'm not that old, but I'm sure not that young. And third grade was a long, long time ago for this old guy. I wonder, what did they ever dig that thing up back then? Like, that's over 45 years ago, probably. It's a long time ago.
They would
have dug it up by now.
Yeah, I think they would have been 20 years. They were usually doing it, Matt. And just so you know, we missed that because I missed it too. I was busy using drugs when they would have dug that up. But mate, but I've had this conversation with many people, and quite a lot of people were there for their time capsule reunion or when they dig it up. So people just love that idea. And it was normally just a handwritten note to themselves, or it was a photo of them in their yearbook at school. Just to go back on something you mentioned also, the applications for Encapsulator are absolutely limitless. Every meeting I have, and this is what's been really difficult this last 18 months, is somebody gives me a new idea and then I go off on a tangent, and I need to remember to bring it back to what I'm an expert in. And I believe, I'm clean today. I'm an expert in MySpace, my community of drug and alcohol addiction. So
MySpace, here's an idea. You should start a platform called MySpace. That'd be really cool too.
done before, mate.
What?
So yeah, the high schools, to use high school reunions, the corporate industry, fitness, weight loss, motivation, all that.
Could you imagine doing an encapsulator for every graduating class? So when they come back on their 10th reunion or their 25th reunion, they pop up with this thing. You're like, what? Because they're saying, you haven't changed in 15 years. Well, let me show you how much you really have changed.
And do you know what? One of the biggest things about that time capsule video would be, do you know how, like, especially kids at that age, I say kids because they are, but they think these people beside them, their best mates, are going to be there forever. And I hope they are, but they think where their life's going, but things just change so much. And life changes.
You never see anybody again.
Yeah, and it's just not the way we thought it was going to be, Matty.
No, it's
hopefully it's better.
Oh yeah, no doubt. What a fantastic invention, innovation that you have been able to come up with, and how it's the story of redemption. I think of Danny Shannon, I think of the story of redemption, buddy, and to see who you are now and where you've come from, and we share some similarities and parallels in our pasts as well, and it's not easy, and I know what it feels like to be a drug addict and alcoholic. I know what it feels like to be, honestly, it was just, I was lonely, I wanted acceptance. I was horrible self-esteem, all those types of things you'd have going into finding a resource to numb all that stuff up. But then to be able to come out of something like that, and you were even older in your drug addiction and stuff than I was younger, but for you to be older and be able to do this now, that's just totally amazing.
I'm very lucky, Matt. I just want to let everyone know too that, I've been in recovery for almost 11 years. I'm celebrating 11 years next month, but I have the best life ever. Often I talk about a lot of the pain and the people I work with, and people think, oh, how do you do it? But mate, could not. I'm telling you, I am the luckiest man alive. I've got everything going on. Very happy. Like, my life is so full. I've got this entrepreneurial journey that I'm on. I'm full of gratitude, and I wouldn't change one single thing of my past, Matty. But also, I remember, amazingly enough, after just hearing you say that, I remember the day I first encountered you on the LinkedIn platform. In fact, I was sitting in my car out the front of my work. All right, I pulled up and I watched your video. It was a different background. It's the other background I see.
Yeah, it's the opposite side of my studio.
Yeah. I'll never forget.
Yeah.
I remember your beard, and I remember you talking about recovery, and I remember you talking about your past, and I think I remember you talking about dealing with cancer as well. And I thought, this guy is amazing, and immediately I sent you an audio message, which is one of the amazing tools on LinkedIn,
Yes.
And from that day, Matt, you and I, that must be, it was over 12 months ago now, but since that day, you and I have just continued to build this amazing friendship and networking,
It's been so amazing, off of what people think is like, oh, it's social media, it's no big deal, but you're one of my closest friends that I've never touched, but yet you touched my heart, right? So it's like, one day we're going to see physically, we'll see each other. Somehow it's going to happen. But I don't know if I could love you anymore if I did see you in person. It wouldn't make any difference. And that's what the benefit of some of this stuff is, and how powerful what we're talking about today, how powerful video is. Yeah, and to think about applying that into your own, what we're talking about with each other, our little bro love fest here right now. But when you talk about doing that for yourself, like you should love yourself. Like, I read this crazy article. There's what's this girl's name? She won American Idol, one of the first ones. Felicia something.
I don't know.
I'm talking like I'm doing time 12, 7, 3. But anyway, she had a lot of problems in her life, ups and downs, and she quit school, the whole thing. Anyway, of recent, she married herself. And she said the reason why she did that, which I think is kind of weird. However, the reason why she did it, she said, was that she had to get to a place where she felt like she could love herself first, where she felt like she could actually love everything about herself. So she just separated herself from everything. She put a ring on her finger saying, I'm going to love you. And she put a ring on her own finger and said, I love you. And she started to love herself, and it started to change her life. And I think, man, that's a fantastic idea.
It's beautiful, Matt. I mean, one of the things I encourage people with Encapsulator is always to be kind and loving towards themselves. So I totally hear where you're coming from, you know. I could probably use a bit of marrying myself at times too.
Well, I think we all could at times. Just for sure, we could say that's not loving myself, right? And if we don't love ourselves, you know, it really reflects in a lot of bad ways. And you and I both know where that can go. But well, Danny, thanks so much for being here today in Matt Chat Live, and for us to be able to have a little fun together and share with everybody what you've got going on with Encapsulator. Yet, how many, you've got people from around the world that are using Encapsulator. I have an Encapsulator account. My son and I have done a video on Encapsulator together, and it's just been amazing. So I just can't wait to see what happens in the next few years with Encapsulator and where this goes. It's going to be amazing. It already is.
Thank you, Matty. Yeah, and I like how you said the next couple of years, because, as an entrepreneur and as somebody who's invested so much time, my experience was we expect shit to happen overnight in the beginning. Yeah. And that's fine. That's nice. Like, fantasy is great and dreams are good too, but being realistic, I love that. Like, I think any journey is 5 years is always a good time to think about it. So that's the way I think about it these days. And as long as I keep chipping away and I'm making progress, and each day I'm being a better person, Matty, my mission, my vision is being fulfilled,
Yeah, that's amazing. And what you're able to do for so many other people, and then them for themselves and for others as well, it just continues to go on and on. Well, thanks again, folks. Again, Danny, tell us how everybody can reach you and how they can find Encapsulator again.
One of my favorite platforms is the LinkedIn platform. I'm Danny A. Shannon, the Gratitude Maker and Sobriety King. You can find me under that. Matty, you can find us at encapsulator.io. My email address can be found at the bottom of the website. And I've also got an Encapsulator Facebook and Instagram page too, mate. Thank you.
You sure do. Thanks a lot, Danny, for being with us today. And thanks, everybody, for being here on another episode of Matt Chat Live.
Thanks, Matt.
If you'd like to be a guest on Matt Chat Live and Matt Chat Live Dailies, please reach out to us here or visit us at mattcrump.tv.